Every day, there's a battle for your mind raging. Information coming from every angle with the will to deceive. Fear not. You found the place for truth. The voice of a generation that still has the will to believe in the greatest country in the history of the world. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. Buckle up. Here we go.
Everybody, welcome to the Charlie Kirk Show. I am Andrew Kolvet, executive producer of this show. I am joined by some very dear friends of Charlie. And of course, they need no introduction. That would be, in no particular order from my right to left, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, and Ben Shapiro. And I want to explain how this even happened. Obviously, we had the Vice President of the United States honor Charlie by guest hosting the show from the White House yesterday. I was just in D.C. yesterday for that, and it was an amazing experience. I've gotten so much great feedback, and of course, we are so honored that J.D. wanted to take time, from running the country and leading the world to help honor his friend, Charlie Kirk. And in the moments that passed right after we got the news, I was in a state of shock. And one of the things that gave me some solace and gave me some comfort in those first few hours afterwards was I actually happened to see a tweet from Matt Walsh. And I could feel the visceral anger that was pouring out of his body onto the post on X. And it's hard to explain why that gave me so much comfort, but I knew that there was an army rising up with righteous anger at what had just happened to my friend and to the host of this show. And within minutes of that, I got a call from the CEO of Daily Wire just asking if there was anything he could do, and I said, yes, send the team. I'm going to want them to guest host this show. And so I asked, and they graciously granted the request, and here they are on Tuesday. It was originally going to be Monday, but you guys got slightly outclassed.
We got bumped.
Got bumped.
Can't believe it. Just terrible.
First of all, thanks for having us. And no place we'd rather be, obviously. But if the idea is that Charlie's friends are going to take turns stopping by and doing the show, then the show is going to go on until about 2052, I think, because Charlie had a lot of friends.
You're going to be aged out by then, so you'll be off the list. But, but we'll figure something out. We'll take care of you, Michael. But Matt, first to you. Tell me what happened in your heart in those first moments, or however you want to do this. What Charlie meant to you, however you want to take this. But those first moments meant a lot to me, so I would love to just let me into that headspace.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for allowing us to do this. It's obviously a great honor, as well as, of course, in the midst of this great tragedy. I think, Charlie was a great man. He was a patriot. He was, he loved God. He loved his family. All that came through. But the word that keeps coming to my mind when I think about Charlie is, in fact, it's the word that I used after I met Charlie the first time, and I called my wife, and it's just impressive. He was an impressive guy, and that's the thought that I had when I met him. And I knew he was impressive based on his work, but just meeting him in person, he's just this really impressive guy, and he did something that I don't think anyone else can do, certainly in this business, and that he was this compelling, incredible, charismatic speaker, but also this force behind the scenes and organizing. He built this incredible institution. Now, in this business, there are some people who can be personalities and can talk in front of the camera, although I think no one did it as well as Charlie. And then there are people who are kind of the organizers behind the scenes. I don't know anyone who was an A-plus talent in both areas, and yet Charlie was, which is why you kind of hear this conversation now, which is inevitable, about, well, who's going to replace Charlie? Who's going to be the new Charlie Kirk? and I am truly sorry to say that the answer is nobody.
Yeah,
there is no new Charlie Kirk. It's just like when Rush Limbaugh died, and there was a conversation about who's the new Rush. There is no new Rush. You only get one Rush in your lifetime. You only get one Charlie Kirk. We're blessed to have Charlie once, and we're not going to have him again. Now, all the rest of us can try to pick up the legacy and live out his legacy and carry it forward, which we will. But we can't be Charlie Kirk, and I think that's why you mentioned the anger. That was just like millions of other people. I'll never forget where I was when I first saw and heard about this. I was sitting in my car. I was about to walk into a coffee shop and just get a cup of coffee, and I got a text from someone saying, "What's going on with Charlie Kirk?" And then I went on Twitter and I'm looking around, and there's all this, at the time it was kind of felt like rumors or something, and I wasn't sure. I was texting Michael and Ben, and then I heard about a shooting, and in the back of my mind, I was concerned, but I wasn't that concerned because I thought, well, there's no way. What are they can't kill Charlie Kirk. It's just like, it can't happen. That cannot happen. And then, and I'll never forget, just kind of frantically scrolling around, texting, what the hell's going on? And the video just popped up on the screen, and I saw it, and I'll never unsee it. And I just put my phone down, and I was filled with grief, shock, but rage, just overwhelming anger. And I've felt that ever since that moment. It hasn't gone away. In fact, my anger has only intensified. And there's a lot of reasons for it. It was a horrible atrocity, what was done to him. Anger for his family, most of all. Anger for a lot of people, but also anger for the country. Because you took someone from us, from all of us. That's why I think there's this outpour, this just incredible outpouring of mourning and grief, is because we all feel it, whether you knew him or not, whether you were friends or not. We all feel that you took something from us. You took someone from us that we needed, and you had no right to do that. Which is why we could talk about the grief and the mourning and all of that, and we should. But we also need to talk about justice. We need justice for Charlie. We need justice for all of us. Justice for his family. Which is why I'm not interested in conversations about unity and togetherness and kumbaya, hand-holding and all that. I know some people, it might comfort them to talk that way. But we don't have time for that right now. What we need is justice for this man who was robbed from us. Mm-hmm. And we need it now.
Much was made about J.D.'s closing yesterday when he talked about unity, but he said, first we need truth. Did you have a chance to hear that, and what's your take?
Yeah, I thought J.D., I thought it was incredible. What I think, in fact, J.D. Vance's monologue, particularly towards the end of the show yesterday, I thought was tremendous. And before that, I also want to say that Erica's speech was, I honestly believe, one of the greatest speeches I've ever seen anyone give. I think it's one of the great speeches ever delivered when you consider the circumstances, but then also just the message. And look, Erica was under no obligation to give the country what it needs. Erica could just go out there and say how she feels, and it's our obligation to comfort her and to be there for her. And yet she did, in fact, give the country what it needs. Yeah. Because she didn't give us, she didn't withhold the anger. Like we saw that she is angry, and she wants justice for her husband. Righteous, loving anger that's rooted in the love that she has for her children and her husband. And I think it was so beautiful and important for us to see that. And
guess what? She did it right where you're sitting. That's where the Erica Kirk speech happened. We put the podium right where your chair is. We have a short break. Thank you for that, Matt. That was amazing. We'll be right back.